Hello and good morning, everyone. It's really great to have you all here on the Wednesday morning class. Hopefully you can all hear and see me, and we've got Basti here on the chat. So if you've got any questions, please pop them in there and hopefully we can answer them for you. I'm sure with our expertise, we'll be in good hands with Basti. I think Dinah's here with us this morning as well. So that's lovely to have you here too. And we are shifting from the last few weeks. We've been looking at the fire element and points along the fire channels, including heart and small intestine. And we're now shifting to the wonderful wood element, which incorporates our liver and gallbladder channels. Season-wise, it's springtime. Don't know about you, but it's kind of turned very cold here in Norwich, so it's not as spring-like as you might wish it to be. So it feels a lot cooler for springtime. So anyway, we'll get into helping to smooth out the flow of our qi and blood this morning. Oh, hello everyone in the chat, and yes, Simonetta, thank you very much. Happy Women's Day. Wonderful. What a lovely day to do some smooth flow of wood element things together. So I'm just going to stop sharing this lovely tree. That's great. And I thought just to begin with, we can just come to sitting, check in with our breath. And I'm going to do a couple of polls for us this morning before we get moving. And I've got, well, you might know it already, but I've got this really fun movement to help the gallbladder, particularly around the pelvis and the middle part of the torso. It's a new one for me, so I'm really excited to share that for you. Oh, it's lovely to have you all here in different places around the world. So I'm going to sit on a bolster, and I've got my piece of paper to make some scribbly energetic drawings or write some words down. So if you'd like to do the same, grab a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, and we'll put that to one side, and we're going to come back for it in a little while. So getting nice and comfy, I'm going to sit on this bolster here. So I've got ease round my knees and pelvis, and you might actually want to sit on a chair instead. So doing whatever feels good. You might want to just gently roll the shoulders. Oh, checking with the neck and the jaw. You might just want to open the mouth a little bit. We're going to come to an easy sitting. We're just going to take a breath or two into the body, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we're just going to see where the breath sits in the body. We're not forcing anything. We're just tuning in to see how deep and how easy the breath is. And we're just going to notice that. And this is where we take our piece of papers, because we're going to tune into where that feels and where we connect to with the breath. And we're just going to make a drawing or a note of it. All right. So nice and easy, allowing the pelvis to drop on the chair or the floor, wherever you're sitting. Easy legs. Just going to gently breathing through the nose. Seeing where the breath fills in the body. Gently pausing at the top, and then we're just going to breathe out through the mouth. Let's just do that once more. So breathing in through the nose. Allowing the breath to fill the body, but not forcing anything, and just noticing where that kind of reaches to in the body. Pausing at the top of the breath, and then breathing out through the mouth, letting the breath go. And then taking a natural breath, so we're not focusing too much on the breath, we're just having an easy breath. Just seeing where that is in the body. If any of you were here on the New Energy work webinar last night. I had a lovely demo with Cliff, and he worked a little bit on my lung and gallbladder yesterday. So I'm starting to feel it's much better this morning. But usually I've got a nice little block in the usual place. So I'm just going to make a little bit of a scribble. Maybe it's some words, or maybe it's a shape or a color. Maybe you want to draw your body and kind of put in where the breath is filling to. All right, so I've got my strange little drawing. And I'm just going to put that down for one moment. So the next little one I want to do is checking in with the breath again, but tuning in a little bit more to the body, and to see if in our bodies we're feeling maybe a little bit weak or a bit blocked. Perhaps we feel really down to the ground, or maybe floating up. Is there heat or cold within that? Do you feel kind of stuck and frozen or agitated? So we're starting to refine a little bit more what's going on in the body. So perhaps you want the hands over the dantian, over the belly, or hands nice and open on the legs. So we're just going to take a few breaths in, but as well as the breathing, we're just going to tune into the whole body. How are we feeling? How are we doing? So breathing in, taking a lovely breath in, only going as far as is comfortable with the breath, not over forcing it, and checking in with the body. And then breathing out. I'm just going to do one more of these, just checking in. Are we blocked? Do we feel weak or tired? Are we hot or agitated, or stiff or frozen? Maybe you just feel great. That's also an option. So breathing in and then breathing out, letting that go. All right. Yes. So I'm just going to do another little scribbly drawing. I'm going to add it to what I've done already. So this is my strange drawing here. So it's kind of across my diaphragm. I felt a little bit of a block, and it was gently pouring down into my lower belly, but I'd like it a bit more open down here. And then I think I've got a little bit around the neck, a little bit blocked. So you can draw or write words, or perhaps it's just an image in your head. All right. So I've got this very strange, looks kind of like an angry dog. So with his floppy ears. So I can feel a little bit of tension and block around my neck and down the sides of my hips here. So I'm going to put that to one side, and I'm going to find the poles for us to do. So bear with me one moment. Seems like we've got lots of them on the list. So the first one I wanted to do is when we breathe in, so going back to the first breathing exercise we've done, when you breathe in, where does the lowest part of the breath go to? Did you feel it in your upper lungs, the full lungs, into the abdomen, or the lower abdomen? Oh, so far it looks like looking all good into the lower abdomen or upper abdomen. Kind of. Well, the good thing is you're all breathing, so that's excellent. That's definitely what we want. Okay, I'll just check a little bit again. Yeah, Kim, golden retriever with glasses. It does look like a dog with glasses on, doesn't it? Okay, so most of you are breathing down into the lower abdomen, which is wonderful. Few in the upper part of the lungs, and that's okay. We're not going to force anything. We're going to move through the class this morning, and hopefully by 11 o'clock, without forcing, we're going to see where the breath is again in the body. And hopefully with all the good intentions in the world, we can breathe a lot easier. Okay, I'm just going to put up the second pole. So tuning into that second lot of breathing that we did, perhaps which best describes our breathing or scan into the body, if it's blocked or well balanced. So I'll just find that for us. I think it's a little bit further down. Sorry, bear with me a moment. Here it is. Which of these best describes your scan? So I'll share that. So it's well balanced. Perhaps you feel just wonderfully marvelous on this Woman's Day. Are you blocked or obstructed, weak or tired, hot or agitated, or cold and frozen? Well, I'm definitely in the camp of slightly blocked, particularly down the sides of my hips and neck. How are you all doing? Oh, weak and tired. A little bit of you hot and agitated, or blocked or obstructed. Wow. With the point of the week, I think it's going to do some wonders for us all this morning. Okay, and a few well balanced. Woo, thank the Lord for that. So that's wonderful. We've got some of you well balanced. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the polls and we're going to come to standing. So I'm just going to put my glasses to one side, gently making your way to come to standing. We're going to have a nice, good old shake out. Yes, shaking cures 1,000 diseases. So just to start with, padding the feet in the ground. If you want to move the arms around a little bit, maybe roll the shoulders, seeing where the feet are in the ground this morning. So because we know the more the feet are open and that we're grounded, we can have an easy, smoother flow of energy up from the ground through our lovely kidney one underneath the foot here. All right, which we're going to get into in a little while, but just padding the feet in the ground, allowing the heels to really drop down. All right, and we're going to shift the weight into one foot. You might want to lean on something, maybe the wall, and we're just going to start by shaking out that foot. See if we can really allow all the toes to kind of release and give way, allowing the ankle to join in. You can put the foot down whenever you want and pick it up again. You can do the sitting, yeah. So easing out the heel. Might want to move the angle of the leg. Oh, that one felt good. Yeah. Into the lower leg and the knee. That's great. And then into the thigh. So giving that leg a good old shake out. And we can either make sure you've got enough space behind you. We can swing the leg forward and backwards like this. Or if that's not feeling okay on your hip, place the heel on the ground, softening that supporting leg and allow that leg to roll round in the hip socket. All right, making sure we've got an easy breath and that we are breathing. It's definitely a vital part of life. All right, and then giving that leg a nice shake out. Brilliant. And then we're going to do the same with the other side. So placing the feet back down in the ground. Oh, already my left leg's feeling much better. So I'm going to shift the weight to that lovely foot we've just worked. So shaking out the toes. Maybe imagining the bones are like cooked spaghetti or wet noodles. Shaking out into the ankle. You can place the foot down whenever you like and pick it back up again. And into the lower leg. Breathing easy into the knee and then the thigh, giving a good old shake out. You can be a bit more gentle, or perhaps like me this morning, you really need a vigorous shake. And then either placing the heel on the floor and rocking the leg to release the hip socket, or we can take the leg for a nice swing, seeing how that feels. It can be low, easy in the knees, yeah. That's great. And then shaking both the legs out. Wonderful. And then placing the feet in the ground. Wow, much smoother. Hopefully you're feeling the same too. I'm going to come to the hands. So shaking out the fingertips. Perhaps you want to be a bit more gentle around the wrists and thumb joints. I'm going to bounce the hands upwards. Same thing again, cook spaghetti bones. I'm going to whisk them a little bit into the wrists. Ah, lovely. And our feet are still spread in the ground, the lower arms. And you don't have to be as vigorous. You might want to take it much slower and smoother. If you're feeling particularly blocked, you might want to be a little bit more energetic. So do what feels good for you this morning. Into the elbows. Don't worry what you look like, because we're all waving our arms around into the shoulders. Obviously only moving the arms as far as feels comfortable with the shoulder joints, so you can keep the arms much lower if need be. Oh, whew. And then allowing the arms to just hang by the sides of the body. Lovely. So, seems like we've done all of our limbs. I've got this wonderful dance teacher who says we have 6 limbs. So I thought, why don't we shake out our 6 limbs today? We've done 4, 2 arms, 2 legs, yeah. The other limbs are the tail and the head and the neck. So tailbone, and we're going to soften into the knees. You can gently pitch forward, so we've got a nice crease here through the front of the pelvis. I'm just going to sway the hips from side to side. And again, doesn't have to be huge, it might just be little. Kind of like maybe a little bit of a samba class, yeah? Easy through the pelvis, opening up the sides of the hips. Or you might want to go much bigger through the pelvis, softening the knees and using the feet in the ground, all right? It might be that nice figure of 8. Or you might want to really shake the tailbone, coming up a little bit more in the legs, allowing the hips to bounce from side to side. Easy ribs. Ooh, and shoulders. Wonderful. And then gently letting that wiggling of the pelvis and the tailbone go nice and easy. Perhaps you want to carry on a little bit for a moment until it naturally settles down. Wonderful. And the tailbone's drawing down, plugging in to the ground behind us. We're just going to take the head to turn from side to side. You might want to do this much slower, particularly if we're feeling a little weak or tired and having an empty feeling. So going much slower with the head movement. If you want to though, you can only if you don't feel dizzy at all with moving the head. We're going to release the front of the face and then gently shake the head kind of a little quicker. You might want to make a noise, relaxing the face and the jaw. You can make silly noises as well. And then if we've done a good old shake out, gently moving the head from side to side, you might have found that just moving the head from side to side is enough. Wonderful. All right, so I'll just pad the feet back in to our parallel. I'm going to check in with how we're doing. I think we're doing good. Okay, everyone's great. Basti's in on the chat. So to get us connected in and hopefully feeling a little bit more well balanced, like a few of you are, which is wonderful this morning, I thought we could tune into our lower burner to see if we can kind of strengthen it, make it a really nice support for the rest of the burning spaces in the body. So if we place the hands on the dantian, so it's between the pubis and the belly button, a point in between here, placing the hands here. I'm going to circle the hands around the lower belly, imagining we're warming and perhaps like a candle or a flame in the fire, that we're slowly allowing this wonderful glow in the belly to gently grow and expand. So we're not going for a roaring fire, we're going for a gentle, warm candle flame in the lower belly. Gently breathing Easy breath. And as we circle the hands, we're imagining the energy spiraling through the skin, through the belly and organs, and deeper into the center of our being, center of our bodies. Perhaps it's going all the way to the back of our body as well. Lovely, easy breath. We're just going to breathe in a little bit more focused in through the nose while still circling the hands. And then breathing out, sending that breath into the lower belly. Once more, breathing in. And then breathing out, sending that breath into the lower belly. Lovely. And the circling is going to get smaller and smaller. We're going to spiral it all the way in. Lovely. Until we rest the hands on our center. So I'm going to turn around for the next bit, and we're going to use the thumb and index finger part of the hand, and coming to place them kind of around the lower back, the waist area. We're just going to do some circles. So if this isn't comfortable for the shoulders, continue circling around the belly area and sending it through to the back, sending the energy even further through the back and perhaps beyond. If you can reach gently with the shoulders, can allow a little bit of a bounce. We're just going to do some lovely circles, making sure the head's nice and easy, jaws relaxed, circling around that kidney part, round the lower back, strengthening where we might feel weak, energizing where we might feel tired. And if we're feeling agitated, it's going to be really nice to let all those stressy, annoying, frustrated feelings go. So we're gently opening the space, energizing our lower burner. Still got our feet nicely planted in the ground. Wonderful. All right, I've lost count, but we're going to keep going just for a tiny bit longer. Hopefully you're getting much warmer. That's great. All right. And then gently releasing the hands. Coming back to standing, and then just placing them over the belly again. And we're just going to take one lovely deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and just feeling where the breath's coming into the body now. And then breathing out. So already I had this blocked feeling down the sides of my hips and neck and across the diaphragm. It's already easing, even though we've worked on the lower burning space through the kidneys and the bladder. All right, now I want to check in with the time. Great, plenty of time. So from here, because we've done lots of shaking and opened up the lower burner through our legs, giving a good old shake out into the belly and then the kidneys at the back, I wanted to show this lovely thing that I learned only yesterday, and perhaps you've come across it before in Qi Gong. Just going to peel a layer off. It's getting much warmer in here. So we're going to come to standing. We will rest in a little while, I promise, because it's always good to rest. So I learned this lovely movement, which is going to connect in with our point of the week, Gallbladder 30, which we've done before. We'll come to that right at the end. So this movement's going to help ease out the pelvis and the ribs. And as that kind of opens and smooths out, it's going to help any tension or agitation through the shoulders, the neck, and the head. It kind of reminds me of Hawaiian grass skirt dancing, which is quite a nice kind of image or flavor for our wood element. So we're going to have our feet in parallel, and then I'm going to pick up my right foot and slightly turn the toes out, yeah? Got easy ankles and knees and easy in the pelvis. So the pelvis is just resting on the top of the legs there. And what I'm going to do is make an easy triangle in between the hands here. And the hands are kind of energized but relaxed. So we don't want too much tension in the fingers, but we don't want them too floppy or dead kind of looking either. So gently opening the palms of the hands. And they're going to be placed around the hip and waist area, but off the body. And what we're going to do is make some gorgeous circles, imagining we've got a lovely Hawaiian grass skirt on. And what we're going to do is the fingers dip down towards the leg at the front, which is the right one. And then they move upwards onto the plane. We're leaning into that front foot. And then we move round to the front and back to the center again. Okay, kind of makes sense. I'll move sideways so you can see. So foot slightly in front. So I'm going to allow the fingers to drop down, gently softening in the front leg, moving forward, and then rolling around that hip joint, moving down, rolling around the standing straighter leg hip joint. Imagining we've got a lovely Hawaiian grass skirt on, smoothing out the hips. And again, it doesn't have to be a big movement. We might just be doing this much smaller, much easier, smoothing out the waist. So we're clipping the fingers down and moving them around, dipping and moving. And we'll go our own pace. Perhaps you want to go much slower and really enjoy this round and voluminous movement. It's also helping to open up the inner thighs in the legs, which if we've been here on this class before, we know it's into the liver channel. So I love this new movement I learned yesterday, easing the liver and gallbladder, the sides of the body. We've got easy shoulders, and then just checking with the jaw now and again, making sure that the teeth aren't clenched. And the eyebrows, which is my classic, are not pinned to your hairline. So can we gently relax the eyebrows? Smoothing this movement round the body, allowing the belly to be easy and the joints to be soft and smooth. So we know our liver and gallbladder connects in with the tendons and the sinews. So you want smooth flow. Oh, that's getting much easier for me. I think at the beginning it was a little bit clunky. Hopefully it's getting easier for you. We're going to gently wind that in. We're going to pick up the right foot, draw it back into a parallel and allow the hands to face down into the ground. Oh, yes. I feel a difference in my side. I feel a little bit wonky. So let's even ourselves out. I'm going to pick up the left foot and slightly turn it out. And here's where we get the fun of our left and right side of the brain. We're going to go the other direction. So the hands in a nice triangle shape and the fingers dip down. They move away from the body, around. It might be one side is much easier than the other. I think this side is a little easier for me. So you can soften in the knees and then allow the pelvis to kind of scoot round to come back up to standing. Again, it might just be an easy movement, nice and small and subtle. So I'm just going to be quiet a moment so you can really listen to this smooth flow and release in your body, dancing with your grass skirt. So taking your time, you might be going much slower and smoother. Perhaps you're noticing the movements getting easier. And of course, resting whenever you need to. I'm going to gently draw the movement in, making it smaller and quieter. And then we're going to gently pick up the left foot, come back to a parallel and the hands facing downwards. Lovely. Ooh, hopefully you feel a nice release around the pelvis and into the sacrum at the back and down the legs. So having a little shake out. We're just going to do one more movement for our sides of the bodies before we come in to tune into the upper burner and opening up into the lungs and the heart channel. I'll just check the chat. It looks like everybody's okay. Everyone's fine. We're doing great. So we're going to do the same thing with the feet. We're going to do right side and then left side. And it's something kind of similar to our double weighted swings. But we're going to draw around the body in a twisting excuse my words this morning, in a twisting movement, but then we're going to slide the hands across the body to help wring out the liver and gallbladder that sit around the sides of the body. Any twisting movement, these channels love. It's like gently wringing them out. So if we're feeling blocked or agitated or hot, this one's really great for doing that. You can do this small or as large as you like. So again, we're going to pick up the right foot, gently turn it out. And yes, we're not going to turn to the right. We're actually going to turn towards the left. So the foot that's staying in our parallel. We're going to allow the arms to move around the body, taking a hold of wherever's comfortable on the torso. And then we're going to draw back. It's kind of gently brushing and squeezing out. I don't know, my great grandma had a mangle. So we're imagining we're going through a mangle and squeezing out stuff that we don't need, purifying ourselves. So around to the side that's got the longer leg and then gently squeezing out. It can be a little bit nice and firm with the belly and the lower back. Squeezing out. And again, you might want to do this much smaller and easier, especially if there's any lower back issues. You can keep the knees softer if that's easier as well. Soothing and smoothing our wonderful liver and gallbladder channels. Easing out any obstruction. So we'll just do a couple more. Wonderful. And then the same thing again. We're going to place that right foot back and see how the sides of the body feel. Oh, yeah, I feel this is much easier and more open. So we're going to do the same with the other side. So we're definitely not going to be left wonky by 11 o'clock, I promise. So we're going to turn the left toes out. You can soften in that front leg. You can just soften in that back leg as well if that's quite tight on the inner thigh. So do whatever feels comfortable. We're going to turn towards our right leg, taking a hold of the body and then undoing like this. So allowing the arms to swing round and then undoing. Going through that mangle, squeezing out. Purifying, allowing space, perhaps where there wasn't before if we were blocked or feeling agitated. And the same as before, it might be this side's a lot easier than the other, or perhaps there's less of a twist. So we're only going to go, even if it's just a smaller twist, work with what we've got this morning, but this movement of the hands across the belly is definitely useful and going to help. So I'll just do a few more on this side. Yeah, not forgetting to breathe. All right. And then we're just going to make this one the last one, and we're going to draw the left foot in and allow the hands to find the dantian on the belly again. Oh, feeling much smoother, and I hope you are too. So we're just going to shake the legs out. I know we've done a lot of standing. We will come and sit down in a minute, or you can rest whenever you need to, shaking the legs out, shaking the arms out. All right. We're just going to come to opening up the chest. So to begin with, you can use fingertips or loose fists. It's going to gently tap around the front of the chest. Oh, you can make a noise like Tarzan if that's easier. Or perhaps there's loads of neighbours watching or listening, so you might not want to make a noise. Or who cares? Throw those wonderful inhibitions out the window. Oh, gently tapping around here. And we're going to extend one arm down. We're going to tap down towards the thumb on the inside of the arm. Turning the hand over up the index finger. Allowing the jaw to relax. We're going to gently come up the neck. I'll come a little bit closer. Gently with the fingertips. We're going to come to either side of the nose. And then back down to the front of the chest. Down to the thumb. I'm going to turn the hand over, up the index finger, back of the arm to the top of the shoulder here, and then gently to the nose on the face, gently tapping here. So these lovely smile lines, we want to follow these, yeah. So that's our large intestine. Yes, thank you, Dino. That sounds great. Lungs, vitality, liver smooth flow of Qi, like a free and easy wanderer, yeah. I love that, that's great. So tapping up this side, and then we're going to swap to the other one. So easing out the other arm, we're going to come to the other side. You might want to be a bit more gentle with your taps. For me this morning, I feel like it really needs a good old vigorous tapping. So down the inside of the arm towards the thumb. We're going to come up the index finger, up to the top of the shoulder, and then gently across the neck. So through the smile line to the nose, and then down to the chest again, into the lung. Oh yeah, strong and full of vitality. Down to the thumb, turn the finger over, all the way up to the top of the shoulder, tapping across the throat, gently, gently to the nose, and then down onto the chest. We'll do it once more to the thumb, turning the index finger over, all the way up gently, gently to the nose, and then tapping gently either side of the nose on the face. And then we're going to gently come to the chest again. We will do some things around the head in a moment before coming to a point of the week and connecting in with our feet right at the end. I know, a strange way around, but hopefully you'll feel really good after it, so we're nice and grounded. All right, and then easing out the arms. So we're going to connect in with the breath again, but this time we're going to do it opening up the arms so the thumb and finger come nice and awake. Oh, I'm a little bit winky wonky this morning. So thumb and index finger pointing out. You might want to just use those fingers or open all of them. This time we can really spread the fingers here. So we're going to breathe in, opening the whole body, and then breathing out, gently curling forward. So I'll turn sideways. So we're going to breathe in, feet are nice and spread in the ground, opening up, and then breathing out, gently curling forward, even just a little way. Breathing in, filling the lungs, and breathing out. We'll just do one more here. Breathing in, lovely, and then breathing out. And then gently uncurling, rolling the shoulders. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to come and sit a little bit closer so we can work the head, especially around the back of the neck. We've got gorgeous points in there. I think you're all doing all right. Okay, thank you. I think Basti and Dinah are doing great on the chat. So let's come to sitting. I'm sitting nicely easy on a bolster. You might want to be on a chair. So we've tapped the large intestine. We're just going to warm up the hands a little bit, make some qi between them. And we're just going to place the hands over the eyes. Our liver channel opens to the eyes, so we're going to allow our eyes to rest a little bit. So placing the hands over the eyes, allowing those eyeballs to really rest. You might want to gently allow the weight of the head into the hands. So you've got relaxed shoulders, the elbows are supporting us on the chest a little bit. Easy breath. All that screen time that we do, it's really important to nourish the eyes again and allow them to rest and recuperate before we come back to any screen work. Wonderful. I'm going to gently bring the head back on top of the spine, so the weight's back off the hands. We're very, very gently going to make like a cupping around the eyes, so the hands are off the eyes but still around them. And with this little bit of darkness around the eyes, we're gently going to open the eyes and allow the light to come to the eyes. So we're not looking for anything. Things are coming to us, to our eyes. They're going to meet our eyes. Then very gently, we're going to move the hands away. There's no rush. And feel free if you want to stay there a bit longer. Just going to start to press in around the sides of the head. So we've got this wonderful gallbladder which zips up from the eyebrows and around the sides of the head. I always imagine it like a banana on the side of the head. Makes this lovely zigzag from the side of the eye near where the temples are, zips up and over, and we're going to come to the back of the neck in a minute. So pressing nice and firmly either side of the head. Opening the jaw, making sure it's nice and easy. Actually, we'll come into the jaw, so either side from the temples. Let's come down to the jaw a little bit. You might want to do some circles, allowing the cheeks to relax. It's actually a bit difficult to talk at the same time. And you can use the knuckles here as well if that feels okay. I like to draw upwards and out. Upwards and out. Just do it a few times, opening the jaw. So if any clenching of the teeth happens, I want to help release that with this movement. Wonderful. And then from here, we're just going to gently stroke down the front of the throat, very gently, allowing our lymphatic system to gently drain. Taking your time to move from one side to the other. Lovely. Easy breath. And now I'm going to shift round so we can work the back of the neck. So I'll move all my hair out the way so it's much easier for you to see. I'll come and sit round here. So we've worked the sides of the head. Oh yeah, you can see here. Great. We've worked the sides of the head, and we know that either side of the spine, we've got our lovely bladder channel. We're going to come out a little bit more where the kind of flat part of the neck is, kind of back sides of the neck. And we can use the thumbs in here from the occipital part of our head, and then gently, you might want to move some circles with the thumbs, or gently pressing in and tilting the head back. Opening the jaw a little bit. It's a lovely gallbladder point, which we'll come to later in the weeks, but It's nice to check in with this. You might want to use one hand or both, interlacing the fingers and using the heel of the hand either side of the neck, working down away from the head. Easing out the sides of the neck. So if any of you are blocked or agitated, hopefully you're feeling much better already, but this one's definitely going to help. Easing the sides of the neck. And again, we'll just come into that lovely point. So finding the spine, either side of the spine, gallbladder. We're going to come out a little bit more into our gallbladder. So gently seeing what feels all right there. You might gently tip the head back. Oh, much easier and smoother. So gently squeezing down the neck again. Great. Wonderful. I'm going to turn back round again. We're doing all right. Great. We've got a few more minutes. So I thought we could tune into our feet. We'll do point of the week first, and then we're going to tune into our feet right at the very end, and then checking in with our breath. And if by magic it's 11 o'clock. So point of the week. Let me see if I've got it on the slides for us. I'll just pull these back up again. So we want our lovely point of the week, the wood element. And today it's gallbladder 30. Do you know what? It's one of my favorites. And it's where I hold my tension. So I don't know about you, if you kind of get frustrated sometimes, or blocked, or feeling a bit stuck. This point's really great for doing that. So it's called the jumping circle or jumping mound, and it's the meeting point of the gallbladder and bladder channels. So it's really great for any hip joint pain or into the buttocks, into the glutes. Superb for sciatica. I've got this lovely book here. I'm just going to read a little bit more about what it does and where it is. So it's located 1/3 of the distance between the greater trochanter, which is the outer edge of the femur right at the top, and the sacral hiatus. So where our sacrum is at the back, it's between the sacrum and the very side of our hip bone at the top, as you can see in this lovely picture. The name of it refers to this point position near the hip joint, a pivot for the circumferenture of the lower extremity, as well as its influence on the hip joint and mobility. Leaping, which suggests rapid movement, refers to the stance of a person, assumes prior to leaping, legs bent, which aids in this location of the point. Its functions are to strengthen the lower back, benefits the hips, dispels wind and cold, clears heat, strengthens and relaxes sinews, and transforms dampness. Well, I think if we had ticked any of those boxes this morning, if we're feeling cold, blocked, agitated, hot, frozen, or perhaps just well balanced, this point's going to be really great for them all. So I'm going to stop sharing this slide, and then we can actually find it. So there's several ways you can get into this lovely point. I'm going to come up to standing. So I'll turn around, excuse my back. We've got the sacrum and then the side of the hip, the greater trochanter, and it's 1/3. So mine is about here, yes. So if it jumps a little bit, you're definitely on it, all right? So the nice thing to do, I like to use tapping. So you might want to do gentle tapping across the sacrum and into the sides of the pelvis, kind of back part of the glutes here. Gently tapping in here. Okay. The other thing we can do, you can either use fist or tennis ball or a spiky ball or anything like that. You can either, I'm going to come and find the wall, or you can come to the floor. So like a bear would, So I'm a little way from the wall, and then I'm going to find my feet in the ground and then roll the pelvis around on the wall. And then we can take a loose fist and place it on that lovely point and then gently roll onto the hand. Oh yes, that's a very nice one indeed. So easing out that point. And I'll show, we'll do the same the other side. You might want to do kind of one side to the other, but sometimes it's nice just to find one point on one side and then roll onto the other one. You can also do this lying down, so I'll show it lying down and also sitting, because it's also really important. If we can't always get to the ground, if there's sore lower backs and sides of the hips, I'll show lying down. You can do exactly the same. So feet planted in the ground and the knees up towards the sky. We're just going to gently lift the pelvis off the floor and placing the hand on the side of the pelvis onto our gallbladder 30. Just what I've done on the wall, and I'm just going to gently roll my knees to one side, allowing the pelvis and that gallbladder 30 to gently open and soften. Wonderful. And then the same the other side. So just demonstrate something sitting for you. You can come to sitting on a chair, and then if you cross the leg over and allow the knee to gently tip out, then we can use the fingertips in the side of the glutes. You might want to lift the knee up and then gently, as it opens out, gently pressing into the point here. All right, wonderful. So whatever way you found easiest, whether that's standing against the wall, rolling on the fists, or lying down, allowing the weight of the pelvis. So it's much stronger lying down because we've got more of a weight of our own pelvis onto the hands, going into that lovely gallbladder point. Or indeed we can do it sitting, allowing the leg to cross over and opening that lovely point in our pelvis. All right, so just to finish up, let's come and find our feet. I'm going to move back, sitting somewhere comfortably. You might want to sit on a chair. So I'm just going to take a hold of one foot, giving it a good old squeeze, to allowing all this energy that we've released from the top to slowly drain down. We had nice grounded feet to begin with, and we're going to finish with them being extra spread and full of Qi from the earth. So giving them a nice press and squeeze. You can find that lovely kidney 1 point underneath the sole of the foot. You all know where it is now. Or again, if you've got a tennis ball instead of the fist, you can roll the ball around the foot to undo the underneath part of the foot. So nicely pressing in to our gorgeous kidney 1 point here. Easy breath. And then we're just going to take a hold of each toe, giving it a nice squeeze and a wiggle. And then before we swap feet, I just want to do something to help our liver gallbladder in the ankles and the feet. So I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see. So you want to take the finger and the thumb around. So if you were to stand on your foot, you've got the hand around the heel, and then you've got fingers one side and then thumb the other on the Achilles, or you can just come round to kind of pinch the back of the Achilles there. Just squeezing into that Achilles, that lovely tendon. It might feel a bit tender, so you might want to be a little gentle. Ooh, easing out that lovely tendon there. All right. Wonderful. And then giving the foot a nice squeeze, and we'll do the same the other side. So squeezing out the whole foot. Taking your time to squeeze out the whole foot. I'll sit back a little bit again. It's a trouble being small. You can't quite get in the screen at the bottom. Squeezing out the whole foot. Then coming into that lovely kidney 1 point, sending the breath in. Lovely. And then we're going to go down each toe, giving them a squeeze and a wiggle. Making sure the shoulders are relaxed, the jaw's relaxed. And we're going to come and find that either just holding the back of the Achilles or here, that's a bit easier. So if I place my hand on the floor, I've put the heel in the palm of my hand. I'm going to take the thumb on one side and fingers on the other, and I'm just gently squeezing into that Achilles. It might feel a little bit like toothache in the foot. It's quite a sore area to gently squeeze. And then squeezing around the whole foot to undo that. Wonderful. All right, and then shaking that foot out. So if you're sitting and you're near the floor with your feet, how is it just to place the feet on the ground and check in here? And gently breathing. Lovely. So if you want to, gently come up to standing for a moment. And we're going to come to a seated place. So only if you feel like you want to. We're just going to take a breath in, allowing the arms to open up, stretching out the index finger and thumb, and then releasing the arms. Breathing in again. Breathing out, releasing. Breathing in again. And then releasing. Lovely. Just going to come gently to sitting. Going to do those nice deep breaths, seeing how we feel. Perhaps looking back at your hilarious drawing you've done first thing. I'm feeling a lot better than this strange dog with glasses on this morning. My neck's feeling much better. So you can place the hands on the belly area, or perhaps just resting them on the lower legs, upper legs I should say. I'll just tilt that down so you can see. It's a bit easier. So resting here or here. Relaxing the shoulders, and we're going to do 3 breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, tuning into where do we feel the breath go deepest? Do we feel blocked anymore? Do we feel frozen? Are we agitated? Do we feel different from when we started about an hour ago? I definitely know this isn't what's happening right now, but we're going to tune in and definitely check it out. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, not forcing the breath, just allowing it to pour in, and then breathing out through the mouth. Breathing in, and then breathing out. We'll do one more here, breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth. Just noticing, feeling what's happened in the body. Then we're just going to keep one hand on the dantian, on the belly, and one hand on the mid-chest into our heart center. Just listening in, seeing how we feel, how we're doing. We can just take a moment for ourselves just to be grateful and to give thanks for ourselves for turning up this morning and doing something for you. It's a nice thing indeed. I'm sure many of you run around and help a lot of people out, but this moment is for you. You've taken the time to care for yourself and to nourish yourself this morning. I'm just going to gently move the hands away from the body. And I'm going to find a last most wonderful palm. Perhaps you just want to stay sitting quietly or lying down, which is completely up to you. I'm just going to pop up, how do you feel now? Do you feel more balanced, about the same? Hopefully not that last one, less balance. Hopefully feeling much more nourished and the breath is easier in the body. Wonderful. You're more balanced. Me too. And on that note, happy Women's Day and have a most glorious day. Keep warm and cozy, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Basti, and thank you, Dinah, for being active in the chat. It's been wonderful to come, and don't forget that lovely gallbladder 30 point, easing out those sinews and sides of the body. All right, I'll finish the class for today and I'll see you soon. All right, bye-bye. Bye.